Hey guys, it's me Meteor, and welcome to another edition of what is Kirby Canon. That's right, we're talking about Kirby this time. As mentioned in previous videos, if the theories are true, Kirby and his species respectively could be the result of Void obtaining positive emotion in opposed to negative emotion like dark matter. If this is the case, it explains why Kirby is just so powerful. How powerful is Kirby? Well, if Meta Knight and Galactonite were also formed this way, Kirby's power is so great, he can even defeat them. Perhaps that's just an example of plot armor. Though if Kirby attacks in real life the way that Shadow Kirby attacks in Kirby Fighters, it's easy to see how he can make such quick work of them. When we consider how young Kirby is, just imagine how powerful he will be in the future. On that note, how young is Kirby anyway? That's debatable. The only two sources of his age are questionable at best. We have the American Dreamland instruction booklet, which refers to him as a little boy who can talk, and the anime which refers to him as a baby who can't, which, as mentioned in the Nightmare episode, probably isn't canon either. Even if we don't know his exact age, there is ample evidence to show he is at least old enough to talk. In Epic Yarn, one of the most famous lines is one of Kirby's thoughts. "This grass feels funny. It feels like pants." If Kirby could think and complete sentences, it's safe to say he could probably speak them too. Some may argue that game was made by Goodfeel, not HAL. Fine. How about Mass Attack? Kirby's own heroic heart, which flew out of his own body, literally spoke to him. And even at the end of the game, Kirby has a pretty deep thought that the stars wouldn't shine as bright if not for darkness. Not exactly baby levels of reasoning. Not to mention it would be pretty hard to make a wish if all you could say was Poyo Poyo. Even so, no one can deny that Kirby is still quite young. Regardless of his age, all we know is that one day he blew into Dreamland on a spring breeze and has been eagerly helping its citizens ever since. Perhaps a bit too eagerly. Kirby's naive, helpful nature has definitely gotten him into a bit of trouble at times. However, if we were to focus on solely what he did wrong those times, others could mistake him for some chaotic monster. For example, some refer to the whole Nightmare situation. If Kirby listened to DDD and didn't fight him, Nightmare would have never been released in the first place. Okay, true. But the Fountain of Dreams would still be without power, unable to give good dreams to those who sleep, or as Magalore puts it, bring dreams to life. It's the difference between treating the problem and completely fixing it, which Kirby did. As for why DDD had to launch Kirby up with the Star Rod, it wasn't because Kirby didn't want to help, it was because he couldn't figure out how. If we notice in the battle against Nightmare, Kirby is completely unable to float holding it. In fact, during the first phase, Kirby sinks as the battle commences and dies if he reaches the bottom. Others refer to the case of Dynablade. If Kirby just talked it out with her, there would be no need for a fight. Presuming this bird can even talk, Dynablade didn't even give Kirby the chance to, since, as you can tell at the start of the fight, she attacked first. Had Kirby just decided to leave matters alone to begin with, we'd still have a crazy bird on the loose capable of slicing trees without even trying. That sounds safe. And then there's Squeak Squad. To be honest, I have nothing for that. I could just blame that on Flagship not really knowing the character too well, but even still, Meta Knight didn't exactly make things better by taking the chest and running off without telling Kirby or anyone else what was in the chest and why it shouldn't be opened. Even then, all these situations where Kirby messed up share one thing in common. Kirby took it upon himself to immediately fix the problem. One could argue that the situations don't give him much of a choice, considering the result of ignoring some of them would be disastrous. Understandable, but the situation certainly wasn't dire after Dynablade's defeat. He didn't have to raise her babies if he didn't want to. He did it because he wanted to make amends for his mistakes. Though, admittedly, if you look at that track record as a whole, it's easy to see why some would question Kirby's motives. Only because it ignores everything Kirby does right, like feeding all the inhabitants of Dreamland following DDD's defeat in the first game. Beyond that, Kirby's selflessness and friend-making abilities have kept dark matter from destroying Popstar multiple times. Without the animal friends, collecting the rainbow drops for the sword would be impossible. Kirby's willingness to help others, even with small things like a block puzzle, shipping, or sitting through a horrid sound matching minigame, have left such a positive impression that the happiness in the form of heart stars was able to free each land of dark matter entirely. Even more, all the heart stars would come together to form the Love Stick, the weapon that would completely thwart Zero. Queen Ripple would still be possessed, and Ripple Star, along with the universe, would still be in danger if Kirby decided not to help Ribbon. And of course, Kirby's final attack against Void was literally the power of friendship. And that's just dark matter, never mind every other eldritch horror Kirby's come face to face with at this point. On top of all of that, thanks to the way Kirby acts in a given situation, he's even made friends with the ones who hurt him or the ones he's hurt before. If Kirby never took care of Dynablade's chicks, would she have helped him board the halberd? If Kirby never helped Magalore, would he have reformed so quickly? If Kirby never chased the Squeaks and freed DeRoach from Dark Nebula, would he have been there to help in Mass Attack? If Kirby never took the time to help the sisters find Highness in another dimension, despite how ungrateful they were after Kirby saved their lives, would they have been able to find their paradise? Could they have ever even been happy again? Even though these are just a few examples, Kirby shows us that making the best of a negative situation can be a fantastic influence on others regardless of who's at fault. And just because trying to help has hurt someone before, it doesn't mean we should stop trying entirely. Many of us can truly learn from that example. And with that, we've talked about everything we needed to with Kirby, so I will see you guys next time.